So that would be sometime in August or whatever. It'd be basically what they call phase 2. So if we don't take care of phase 1, we get put into another pool. We have to wait till phase 2 to decide whether we're going to get any money or not. So we could either get the whole 19,000 or nothing altogether. And chances are it's probably going to be nothing because most of the money would probably be spent by that time. So my other question was, if we take the reduced amount today, where does that leave us? And the answer was, if we take the reduced amount, we automatically get the grant today, or within a week or two. So I talked to each one of you individually because of the short notice. I apologize for that. And I did give you a breakdown in front of you as far as what the original request was, what the new request is, and then kind of how that puts us. And then for the people in the audience, I'll kind of explain. $19,000 from the USDA perspective was about a, let's see if I get the numbers here right. $19,000 originally from USDA gets basically, they paid 54% of the car, we paid 45% of the car, so roughly that number. With the new grant proposal, it changes the numbers. The USDA would be kicking in 41% of the car, we would be responsible for 59% of the car. So it's almost a split the other way. One of the other things you got to take into consideration, and I did the final breakdown on your sheet here, was when you take into consideration the tribal grant into that perspective, the total cost of the car is $40,236. And if you also take into consideration the tribal grant, it puts our percentage down to about 51%. So we get a brand new car, over a $40,000 car, for a 51% commitment on our part. The other question came up as far as the difference in the reduced amount is $4,750. That's what we have to come up, and that's what the action item is our contribution becomes $4,700 more at this point. Originally, we had talked about getting rid of the Crown Vic Victoria police car, stripping it down, selling it, and then the money would go actually into the next year's budget to fund the next car somewhere in the future. Every year we set money aside. We figure that a patrol car will last anywhere from 8 to 10 years. So if you set aside $3,000 a year, that's how you come up with the grand total of what it costs to buy a patrol car. And that's kind of what we've been doing the last 4 or 5 years. And that's kind of how it gets us to the point where we have some money to spend now. By selling the Crown Victoria, we were actually thinking about, okay, we'd have anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 that would sit into our budget next 2016, so we'd start out with a pretty hefty balance, or starting. So we have money ahead. If we take into consideration we got to come up with another $4,700, my suggestion is we just take the price of whatever we're going to sell that car for. That is used to offset the costs that we have to take care of now. So the question is, do we do it now? Do we do it later? What are our options? We can either take the reduced amount now. We could wait till phase 2. Or the question is, if we don't get anything in phase 2, we're eligible to reapply and start the whole process over again next year. If you take into consideration we're getting a car for 50% of the value of it, I mean, it's a pretty good deal as far as I'm concerned. It's a decision you guys have to make. And I've talked to each one of you guys individually. It's pretty easy for us to consider that we'll probably get anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 for that car. I gave Joe a bunch of statistics, I think, from 4 different sources. Anything from Kelly Blue Book Value to Craigslist to a company out of Chicago that sells used police cars, and there's one was Yahoo Motors or something like that. So 4 different sources put the value of that car anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000. It runs great, it looks good. I don't see why we can't get at least $4 grand out of it, minimum. And so that's kind of where we're at this point. And I think that's why it's another action item as far as what we're going to do with the purchase or the sale of the Crown Victoria police car. And originally, our plan is to get rid of the Crown Victoria because it's a rear-wheel drive. It doesn't serve a purpose all year round. Explorer is all-wheel drive, so we can use that all year round. The new car will be all-wheel drive, so it's one of those cars we'll probably drive as a primary car and use the Explorer as a backup.
Need a motion to increase contribution to USDA grant
Any questions?
by $4,700. Motion made by Chapman and supported by the clerk.
Well, no, it was Marley and me.
You got it, it don't matter.
Yeah, they can do it.
They increased the contribution.
Chapman and Bodley. To increase our contribution by $4,700. Any further discussion? All those in favor, no, get a roll call, Melissa?
Yes.
Leila?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Larry, yes. Let's go to H, sell the old car, start stripping it.
Make a motion, we start selling the old car, getting it stripped to sell.
Support.
Okay, I support by Clark.
I'd like to wait until we get, until we get.
Get the new one.
I think it would be honest to wait until we get the new one.
He's got his bike.
We can,
Here's the question. Part of the problem we got is, once we start getting the car and everything in the car is a reimbursement type of, so we don't get paid for that new car until it's all put together and ready to go. And my question is, what are you guys comfortable with as far as selling that car and the price and paying for the car? Because obviously, you're gonna pull the money from somewhere to pay for the car and then get it reimbursed and put it back somewhere else. So if you're comfortable paying $40,000 out for your car and getting reimbursed later for those, that's your other option. If we start stripping the car down now, you can probably put it up for sale sooner, put some of that money towards it, and stuff like that. So that's the other
But
option.
it depends on how you wanna do this. If you wanna wait till the grant comes through and then.
Either way, we pay all of this out of pocket, and then we're reimbursed. It doesn't
It just
matter.
depends on how quick you want your
And
money
we're
back.
guaranteed the loan, or the grant. I'll agree to, well, you guys are signing Monday, the paperwork, if we agree.
Yeah. and
Once
I
that's
forgot
signed,
to
it's a done deal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
How long will it take to get the car?
The nice thing about the car, and I told a couple of you guys about this, if we were to order a car right now, today, there's only 2 cars available. One's a black one, one's a white one, and so we're kind of left over with whatever was produced and purchased last year in the grant process. If we wait a couple weeks, which is almost gonna fall perfectly in line with this process, in 2 weeks, they start production for the 2016s, and we can get on that order. The nice part about it is we're guaranteed a 2016 car at a 2015 price.
we wait.
I mean, we win all that. And the nice part about that is we can specifically order the equipment we want, the color we want, everything, versus trying to pick something off a lot right now.
Agree to that.
Wait.
Yeah, wait.
What's that?
Drive the Explorer probably next couple weeks anyway, depending on.
Well, I mean,
So we need
We
to
just
be
need-
specific.
We
on
can make a
when
motion
we get to it.
when we.
I think we have like a Dukes of Hazzard color.
Whatever we're sure we got the car.
Like orange.
Yeah.
okay, now we're talking just stripping it though. We're not talking putting it up for sale yet, because we're gonna do the sealed bid or whatever, set
Right,
a
that's
bottom
what
line
I'm
price,
gonna
do whatever. So
So
right now,
here's the
we're
process you
just
gotta go through. The car that, as it sits right now, it has to be stripped out. There's only 2 pieces of equipment I need out of it. I need the high band radio and the 800 radio. Everything else, those are the only 2 things that are going in the car. Everything else has to be professionally taken out of it. I mean, we've talked about, unofficially, Sam wants the light bars for his car. We just changed the lenses, so it's a good savings for him, because it's a $1,000 equipment.
His wife's blazer.
His work truck. But there's ways you gotta take some of that stuff out of there to make it worthwhile. So there's somebody that has to do that, they have to pull the stickers off, and it has to be detailed. I mean, I've already offered, I'll detail it, it's not gonna cost us anything to do that. And then when it gets to that point, then we can technically put it up for sale. So there's some, I mean, we can't put it up for sale tomorrow, obviously.
We don't.
The motion was, that Bill started here, I think, was to, when it's advantageous, Joe started it? Joe started it.
When it's advantageous for Scott to start stripping the car, you guys are approval to go ahead.
Yeah.
Into something.
No, he can't sell it until we set a price, you
Yeah.
seal bid. You can't put it up for sale.
And we got time to,
If we decide to seal bid, we could just set a price, as the other truck and just say, first come, first served, and it's up to us.
the last thing I wanna start doing is pulling a car apart without you guys acknowledging it.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor to allow that.
I'll say.
Bodley, Chapman, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion's carried. Township utilities. I don't know how this happened, but
That's just our, we have to do things.
Do we, should we pay them off?
they're asking for $2,195.95.
Is that for how much time?
That is since May 8th, 2007, I believe.
Oh. I thought maybe it was every year.
Eight's the furthest back.
All right, here we got.
So the past 7.5 years,
Yeah, the accounting problem.
Yep.
As a member of the township board, I would like to see you guys table this issue with the township. Because I want to see the contract, the township and the village is signed. And this is, because I've yet to see these bills as a township board. And unfortunately, it comes to you guys before it went to my board.
Make the motion to table it. Pay it.
So I would like to get it to my board because I want to see a copy of these bills
Okay.
as,
I agree. I don't
as the township.
I don't question the
board.
bills, I would like to see the,
That's just so we're running. I want to see the actual bills. As the township board member before they put it to you guys.
If anybody's read the lease with the village before, it does state in it that 10% of the gas bill to the building will be on due date, as well as telephone service consumed by the DC, which is us. So it does say that we owe them 10%. I'm a little bothered, one, that it's been since '08 and it's never been caught before. I think that's, or '07, you should say, bothers me. One, the fact that I'm also a township tax resident, and I'm paying rent and utility bills on a building I already paid for.
Was some of that compensated by the snow plowing or anything?
Well, no, because part of our lease says that we will take care of all the snow stuff.
I would like to see you guys table this till my township gets a full board meeting, which will not be March's meeting, it'll be April,
Well, the one,
before we have a full board.
well, the other thing that I would look at too, and like to look at on this, in 12/1 of '08, they show a $9,188 bill to the township. And they're showing that, and I actually have the bill and all that in front of us here, for a upgrade to get of gas facilities.
That's for the children.
Well, in my opinion, why are we paying upgrades for their,
That's why I just wish
Yeah.
you'd table the whole issue until we can get full township board, and then let the township board bring it back.
I didn't see
I'll make the
I
motion to
didn't see
table
one
it.
that go away for an hour.
You know where I'm going here?
Yep.
Because right now we're raising bad feelings between the two boards, and let's make sure all the board members are aware of what's going on first.
Bad feeling to raise it.
I need a motion to table.
I made the motion.
You did it over there.
I'll support it, second it.
Bodley, any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to table township utilities issue? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Public comment, you got 1 minute, I'll let it. You got more than that, I probably will discourage you. I think we're good. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'm gonna make a motion.
Who's doing it?
I don't have
By
it.
Thayer, supported by Bodley, to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Yes, gentlemen, have a good evening.
Thank you all for coming.
I'm just curious.
Dinner time.